I wiped it off, and I'm going to run the car for a few minutes and see if it's wet around that crimp there. Because right here at the clamp, that's the return line. It's not even wet, which is right there. Okay, shut her off. Oh, I just seen it dripping. I just seen the power steering hose drip. Let's see.
That's quite good.
Well, it's definitely the power steering hose. And this is the tool that's going to get down in there, because you don't have much leverage down in there. The one on the power steering pump you do, but this will take care of this for the leverage. And that fits just like that over there, and then you just put it on like that. There. This hose right here, this one. This hose. The other one on the back side is the return line. Okay, I'm going to take the Sawzall and cut it right about there. And then I'm going to take an 18-inch socket and put it on there. Make it easier for me. I couldn't have done that at the auto wrecker because I needed the hose intact. And then I got my Sawzall, so I'm going to cut it and let the fluid drip, and I got some little margarine containers there. I'll let it drip on in. You got to remove the power steering belt so you can slide the power steering hose right along in there, and then you can get it out, because it's got an elbow to it, and that's where you install it from, is right along in there. Connect the breather, it's up here. Anyway, there's that clip. I took the clip and I bent it over. See the clip here? The clip that holds both of them together. I just pushed it over to the side there. I got the crowfoot wrench in there. Okay, let me see if I can zoom it in there a bit. There, now I'm just gonna put my 3/8 drive on it. Okay, that's how I have it positioned. Now I'm just gonna get an extension bar right here and pull down on it. Pipe. Well, I got it loosened off. It's such a tight squeeze. It's hard to video in such a tight space. See my little finger there with the video camera? So I can move it now a bit. See? But I have to use the pipe on it. Okay, I just have to reposition it and untighten it now. Or I can just use a regular wrench on it now, an 18 open end, since it's untightened. And there's what that looks like. Connected the vacuum line there because it was just tied right around the power steering hose. This part's out. Now that I've moved the coil pack, I can reach my hand into there, and what I feel behind there, there's a strapping that's holding the power steering hose right at the very back. You can feel it. just a small strap, plastic strap. So I'm going to have to cut it out. This is the end that goes to the power steering pump, and I put tape on the ends not to get any sand or anything while I'm installing it. And this is the end you've got to go first. And you push it down in here, and then you crawl underneath and you pull it past the pulley on the pump. And if you look straight down there, you can see the pulley a little bit. And you just get this piece behind it. Okay, I checked the line and it's right at the pump, but it has to be turned a bit. So now what I'm going to do is route this going that way. And by turning this, it'll turn down there. See, I'm just getting into position because I want to get this clip and this bracket. This bracket just goes along in here. And by doing that, I should have the right position on the pump bracket to turn it on. And I'll thread it on the pump first, and then I'll do the one on the steering arm second. Okay, first connect it with my fingers, make it finger tight, then I use the 18mm open end, and then I use the crowfoot to tighten it up. And you got to get your hands in there from underneath, and then you can tighten it up that way. Well, I got the hose on the steering. I just finger tight right now, and I'm going to put my open end, and then from there I'm going to use the flare nut. Flare nut crowfoot to tighten it up. And then put that clip back. For the last little bit of tightening, I'm using a small ratchet on the crowfoot. Because as you tighten it, you can ratchet it backwards. I got a socket with an extension. Now I got some good leverage to tighten it with. I just got to tighten enough that I can hear it click. I got good leverage to this here. This is what I used. I'm going to mount the bracket now. That's the last thing. You want to make sure that the bracket is loose so you can maneuver the hose around. Well, I got the coil pack on. I have the power steering belt back on, all tightened up. What I haven't done is put the air filter back. What I want to do is fill it up with fluid and check for leaks before I put it all back together, so I can see down in there. Not leaking there. Looks good there also, it's not leaking. That sure saved the day, this crowfoot flare nut wrench. Because I'd have never been able to get down in there to untighten it, or tighten it. All back together now. Just got to put the tires back on. And here's the power steering hose. I got one from the auto wrecker. I chose to get one from there because I don't like the aftermarket ones. They tend to leak at the very end. I'll show you that when I unravel it there, because I've had no luck with them. And this one here is dry. So it's definitely not leaking. If you go to the auto wrecker and you see that's wet on the lines, then don't get it, or at the ends. But this one here is dry. What was happening with this one, it's leaking and it's burning on the manifold. You can see a little bit of smoke coming from there as you're turning it. So it's definitely leaking. So, and I'm not going to be taking the power steering pump out either. I'm going to be taking the the passenger side tire off, and you get it from in there. So that's what I'll be doing too, jacking up the vehicle.